question now is, are they about to be crushed into oblivion? We find out now at Chiefs.
There's definitely no guarantees, that's for sure, Spaceman. A lot of good things to happen here. NRG consistently, at least across the board, has always shown they've got a decent amount of defensive stability, and boy, they're going to need it here against FaZe.
I think the sentence guarantees in North American Rocket League should never, ever go together, and they probably won't. But if we are looking at least the contingency plan, if you are NRG, they're going to have to shut down First Killer. Listen, if he's the catalyst for this offense, if he is how FaZe are going to get on the board, specifically upfield, NRG have to do a better job going into this matchup than they've done so far today in Achieves. It's a tall order to take. You got to believe Roldiz has these boys on point.
Yeah, Roldiz doing a lot of good work for FaZe. Garrett G getting a lot of big demos. Opens up the world for Squishy one-on-one, and he actually keeps it out. Nick Costello, the defensive wizard, makes another stop.
Look, you can scratch your head and wonder that should have been an opening goal, sure, but you also give credit to Garrett immediately getting physical with FaZe, taking 2 out of the play, and very early on, NRG at least establishing that physical prowess we know they're capable of, but FaZe are more than happy to play the long ball game here as a quick dump from Squishy gives it to Garrett on the 1-2 give and go, and FaZe will try to retake their own side of the field for now, still fighting for possession, but all for NRG here.
Liking the early pressure from NRG. They're at least willing to really go up there and fight for possession. And actually going to score. Did he just bump Typical off the goal line? And was he just able to walk right through out of the corner?
And so it begins. Yeah, it looked like it was a bump on the mist, and Squishy plays it low back down on the curve and immediately gets into the goal line. So Chiefs, like, starting off the series, we're hyping up FaZe, talking about how good this squad looked today. It's only been a goal. But for NRG, outside of physicality, what do you need to see out of them? Feels like we've asked that question for a year now. What needs to change going into today?
Right now, if you're NRG, don't continue to get physical and smash them, because right now I don't think they've had to play any defense. This might be their first go-around. And, oh, I was about to say, come on, you can't let the air dribble uncontested just find its way through. But in general, if you're NRG, for a long time, they've been an incredibly dangerous counter-attacking team. And a lot of that just, they have great coordination on defense, but at the same time, it has started to feel like that transition game has lost a lot of the bite for them. So if you're wondering how to improve on that, I mean, there's only so much you can do. A lot of that transition game when it comes to a team all being ready is largely mechanical based.
Sure.
And when you've got players like Squishy, Justin, and Garrett, all three quite mechanically adept, and they're still not getting the job done. I mean, can't really say anything but fight through the slump. Even sometimes the best people in the world at their respective sport just go through a rough patch, and maybe that's all you're getting from NRG. Who knows? Maybe they just need everyone to say, you know what, they're finally done before they come all the way back.
I mean, this is easily the happiest chat's probably been all day today, but even starting off with how that opening goal went, FaZe have left no pressure on the other side of the field up until what would have been a ridiculous pass to First Killer, but very quickly possession back to the boys in blue. NRG doing a nice job on those counterattacks you just hit on. Looks like they're more comfortable at the midfield line as Justin feeling it off the ceiling with a bounce touch. First Killer will play this very easily. And how do FaZe regroup numbers and pressure back towards that midfield line? They've struggled to start game one, but as they keep it on the ground, they have plenty of space to work with, and it's all thanks to Mist with a beautiful flick with 2:10 on the clock.
Really great placement as well. You can see Justin, he gets put in the 1-on-2 in the back. He has to make sure to not get bumped, so he starts to try and cut inward to try and go out to avoid having to play the goal line with the bump coming at him and try and make the save. Decides to try and cut down the angle. Mist takes what he's given, says, you've given up the bottom corner. Gonna take it.
Been a couple of deep throws from Justin at midfield, just putting the ball back in play where FaZe have to corral it and swing it back out for a counterattack. Granted, FaZe have handled that quite well. They haven't handled the drop down. Dangerous waterfall, no pressure now. Tied game 1-1 still. We play on. First Killer gonna dump it. Thread to Mist off the backboard. Read by Justin very quickly. The defense of NRG not wasting a lot of time on their clears.
NRG normally so good at converting those open chances. He gets the second one. This time he doesn't have to read it off the top corner. It's just wide open. Everyone from FaZe gone AWOL here. Typical had time to go grab corner boost. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't there, so he just continued up the sidewall, wasn't able to react to the bounce back into the middle. NRG gets another go-ahead goal here. FaZe, I really thought we were going to see them kind of just run this one down and just press until NRG finally cracked, and it's been anything but.
Oh, that's a great pass. And I don't want to say it's been old demons for FaZe because we've seen a couple of double commits in this game, but that's really something they've worked through in the past couple of months. They have really tried to hone in on spreading out their looks. But it's really come down just the pressure from NRG. They've done a great job on the counterattacks. They're limiting the possessions the first killer has, really forcing Mist to have to take it right up the gut. Typical trying to center out, does so, but Mist will play it low. Typical back out the 1-2. The pass for FaZe, continuing, extending, but quickly denied. And yet again, it's NRG who clear the ball.
Very proactive, great understanding about where the ball is moving on defense. Justin keeping Mist honest in the goal. Obviously, if it works its 12th into the net, so be it. But in general, just making sure he doesn't just allow a free clear there. So FaZe, you're gonna right. Spaceman just kind of stalling out right there. Yeah, they're out of their own half, but they still gotta go and fight for the ball.
Yeah, the game plan kind of breaks down, but maybe first killer can flip the page here, start a new chapter. Typical with a low catch, wins the 50, Mist waiting. He has a look. Fighting 2 at a time. NRG will double commit happily on that play, but first killer gets it back. Garrett should have this no problem. And again, it comes down to kind of the stagnated push for FaZe. They get 1 or 2 looks there, but they go back to midfield and have to try yet again on an ISO challenge. Wow. NRG more than happy to play it. It's a little too easy right now for NRG.
Closing the gap quick, too. You thought maybe there was going to be something. Justin rips 2 of them off the same spot on the post. Chance for first killer one-on-one. It'll take a decent skip for Typical. Mist is really going to have to stretch. No chance to get there before Garrett. Second shot from first killer. Third one, and Justin doesn't have the time to recover. They tie it up with 1 second. If that's not the pinnacle of what goes wrong for NRG, you're winning a game, and now you got to go play OT, and if you lose it, everyone just kind of rolls their eyes and goes, of course.
I mean, I want to say that says more about just the FaZe offense finally clicking. It was the bottleneck that eventually punched its way through, but NRG threw everything they had at the ball. Just FaZe kept the pressure going. Finally, that continuous offense that we're so used to. It's been here the entirety of today for the start of this group. FaZe looking very comfortable in the end, but first killer puts it away. Into OT we go. Do NRG have enough in the tank to steal this game 1 after losing it on the goal line? We'll fight for possession here, but FaZe have always had numbers to at least clear out to midfield. Can they continue it? That's the big question.
They have to get out of their own half first. NRG kind of losing a little bit of command there and missed a couple of really nice challenges. This gives FaZe a lot of time to move forward, but again, just not really able to get the ball under their control.
I'm trying to think of what FaZe could possibly have in the playbook, other than what they've essentially thrown to the board, which is send first killer on the sidewall, keep Mist low to the ground up midfield, and try to find a connecting pass in the front of the box. It's worked for a goal, but after that, NRG have been able to read a lot of those different looks, and Justin's escaping all the way to the backboard. Time and time again, pulling numbers and defenders out of the play. Squishy, a one-on-one with Mist, make it a 1v3. FaZe throwing numbers now with very little boost, not a lot in the tank. They'll have to get back to midfield.
A little awkward here for NRG. They escape, but they're definitely not in a good set to go on a strong counterattack. Doesn't really feel like they've quite got the boost in all 3 players to really feel comfortable going for that. That shot is well wide. No trouble for them, but now you kind of think, okay, now we've got at least a little bit of something going here with Garrett with a clean dribble. They bought a lot of time on that transition. NRG knows that if they want to score, they have to have a little bit more going with them before they can really make a dangerous push, and they're not willing to overcommit just to try and force something that isn't necessarily there. I think they know better than that by now.
Yeah, NRG's found a lot of real estate through the corners and off the backboard of FaZe's side of the field. They haven't been as pressed as you might have thought before to start this series. Garrett, low to the post.
Oh, it's there.
Opposite corner. Garrett gets the assist. High fives all around. NRG, again, finding some real estate, and they close the deal in game 1.
Great job here from all 3 players, really. Justin getting it through the corner, around the side. Garrett G not getting too greedy, throwing it off the wall to beat the defense. That was a very old school NRG goal, if I may say so. The idea is always beat the next man. Well, they didn't do just that. Squishy, great timing, aggressive, to be fair. If he hadn't won that race to the ball there and just poked it around everybody, it was very likely they were going to get counterattacked and lose the game, but they fight through the 1-second equalizer. They hold a decent amount of pressure. They've generally prevented FaZe from really getting out and keeping an extended stay on their own half across the board, so well done overall, Leaf.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the fact that FaZe Clan is tearing through today and somehow stumbled or wasn't able to figure out what to do here. Sure, overtime, but like you lost it to NRG. I mean, NRG must be doing something, or all of the steam was used in those previous matches is for FaZe. Across the board, I want to let you guys know, G2 looking good against version 1 right now. They're up 1-0, and in the series and 2-0 in the next game. M80 not having a hot day. They lost 6-0 against Shopify Rebellion in game 1. They're now down 2-0 in the next game. And Complexity is currently up 1-0 in game 2 with a win over Space Station. So they might be on match point against Space Station soon. Yep. Wow. So the 6-0 team's not looking the greatest today. Well, Furia, they're up 2-0 over Crew right now. That was very crucial for them.
Okay. Not free, but getting the job done.
They're getting the job. Yeah.
Said about a lot of teams this weekend. Listen, Leaf, we've had this discussion many times about validity of NRG, validity of FaZe, and how FaZe need to break the top 4 curse. Is it only fair that, given everything that's at stake this weekend for FaZe, that NRG just come in here and cause upsets? Is that really what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair for entertainment.
Good. Appreciate that.
All's fair in love and entertainment. Oh, they're going to score for
Sometimes they go hand in hand. It's typical. Gets a little 1-2. Nice job by FaZe.
So I guess it wasn't as free as it initially looked, but that takeaway cross into the middle and first killer dishing it right back. I mean, yeah, Justin, you can hang out on the backboard all you like. I don't know if there's any way you're going to get to wherever Supercool's going to put that. Great passing and short-range vision from FaZe.
I mean, that's what was missing in game 1 was those quick infield passes, cutting down the defense, that offensive third that NRG were more than happy to play the long counterattack game again. They weren't pressured too heavily on FaZe's side of the field. FaZe struggled very much with anything other than just ISO plays one at a time as they tried to hold on to possession, but typical, again, dangerously hard off the backboard. They'll try to play it towards the midfield, missed, cutting into the box. Quick shot, NRG having to deal with the pressure quickly.
And you do need to see NRG continue to be proactive on the defense. Go out there and meet the ball in the middle of those passing lanes. You just saw Garrett G come up with a miss. That can allow a lot of dangerous extra opportunities for FaZe to regroup in the midfield and start some of those extended stays. You can't really afford to come up empty on anything you go for.
There's been a lot of congestion at midfield. It's usually like a 1v2 for FaZe where NRG have been trying to corral that ball back, but eventually falls its way through. Still fighting for possession here. First killer gets bumped off the blade, but Mist will take it back. And first killer's ready in the wing in case the pass did come through. Instead, long touch, redirect doesn't go anywhere. NRG struggling to get it to the other side. Quick cut down. First killer's now just flying in and out of defensive holds, just taking the ball away from NRG.
Justin trying to keep that physicality going that NRG had it in game 1. Seeing if they can open up some extra holes on that FaZe defense. Pop towards the net. Typical. Actually comes up empty. Doesn't matter though. Justin believed him, so all things considered, the defensive idea works. Squishy to Justin in the corner. Back to Garrett. Like the idea, but maybe in that situation, the spacing would have worked out better for the shot. Either way, NRG saved the counterattack to keep the deficit to 1.
I think just checking the meters alone, the boost game has been there for FaZe defensively. They've usually had around 60 to 70 in the tank to deal with this pressure. So if you're NRG, that's something to keep in mind. Just granted, you're always having to deal with one member in your face, let alone 2 collapsing on the front of the net. We've seen it time and time again. Garrett will find a demo. We saw that in game 1. It led way to that opening goal. And then things quieted down. Physicality just wasn't the same, but they still find a way to close it out. Justin can't get it through midfield. Simple does cut it. Squishy should have this possession, and he will before first killer interrupts and steals it right back. Garrett taking it through. Miss cutting it down. Back and forth we go, trading possessions here. Typical, looking for a bump, will fall off.
Ooh, and Justin plays this one quite tight. Very awkward, and Garrett G just smashing himself through all the players on that near post. Squishy going to be trying to get in first killer's face. And again, I mean, Garrett G, he's having quite a defensive show. And there's the pass from Justin, and they turn it into a give and go.
God, these counterattacks are just lethal. The win by Garrett, first of all, in the 50 into the neutral zone. Justin on a dime, and Garrett closes it. Just slams that textbook down on FaZe's head.
Wow.
I'm
amazed that got through. I mean, Garrett G, he's got the speed right now on defense. He's seeing how FaZe likes to move the ball. He's getting in their face, not letting anything go for 3. I should say all of NRG are doing quite a nice job of that, but definitely feels like in general, Garrett G definitely stepping up and looking excellent in that particular aspect of the game so far.
I don't know what's more impressive, the pass from Justin or the fact that Garrett even wins that alone. But maybe FaZe will just have to take a breather and calm things down, because you still have to worry about first killer and Typical working in tandem like they do.
Man, that was so not fair either. Like, Squishy had to jump. It's not like it was a terrible approach from him. He had to jump to dodge a demo. And unfortunately, Typical just had such great command of the ball that he was able to keep that one stuck to the floor and go right under him. So can't really fault Squishy's approach so much as they like to see Typical with that level of control.
Big kickoff win by FaZe as well. They've kept the pressure here. Finally, NRG do escape, only for a moment. Garrett, double tap, you'd almost think. Squishy was thinking about the challenge, but instead will fall back to the midfield. Garrett does get a redirect, and Justin will play it. Typical on a one-on-one. What do you have in the tank? Not much for Justin. Typical should be able to take it out. He will. They combine for a pinch, but Garrett will be there.
What do you do if you're FaZe? You're up 1, but it definitely doesn't feel like this is just a waltz to victory. NRG definitely making you work for it. They finally lose a challenge. Yeah, Justin just has to get up to not allow FaZe to jump at it first in the midfield to extend the lead with a minute.
FaZe have really been keen on overextending, whether it's typical or missed. After first killer goes for a challenge on Justin or Garrett with the ball, they try to fall back and find an infield pass quickly, but it's been all of NRG on the other side. Typical left it down in the front of the box. Mist circles back to the goal line, hits his own teammate, and NRG take advantage of the free space.
That's tough. You can see the second man jumping for FaZe there. They just thought that, I think it was Mist who was going first. They just thought he wasn't quite going to get there, so they go try and jump at it. And unfortunately, Mist catches it with the wheel. Second man barrels through, blows them both out of the play.
Typical tried.
Huge breakdown for FaZe, and honestly, what was a savable ball, all things considered.
I appreciate Typical jumping in to help out his teammate. It just did not go the way. It's like, would you like some help? And it did not go the way he thought.
he didn't want to allow what NRG did in game 1.
Exactly.
The sub 30-second equalizer. He's like, no. The best laid plans sometimes go awry.
That's maybe FaZe's strong suit. When everything breaks down, they tend to thrive. But first killer, maybe for a pinch. It's kept up, and it will touch. 2 OTs in a row. Game 2, here we go. Tied up. This could be a 2-0 series lead for NRG. For FaZe, just looking to tie it up.
It'd be big for NRG to get the win, obviously. Gives them a pretty clear-cut through into the next round, regardless of what happens in the M80 series. Versus Shopify Rebellion in their same group. Shopify at 0-2, M80 at 1-1. So should M80 come up with a win, then it doesn't matter because Shopify would be 0-3. But if the other way around happens, NRG would be in a much more precarious position. Either way, in a decent spot right here. Typical doing his best to equalize, and Garrett G will just poke that out into the corner.
Yeah, and if you're missed, that's what you want to do. You want to start fighting Squishy on the sidewall, try to keep possession here for FaZe, and again, keep those boosts alive. So often FaZe have looked low when they've started their counterattacks. They've kept it on the defensive end, but Typical can't get the reset over Justin. A nice poke out, and he'll grab the midfield squeeze. It's missed through the corner, but immediately pinched away. Typical's ready for the extension. Garrett will cut it to the side wall. FaZe now pressing. Typical on your screen, 38 in the tank. Burns it to get to the backboard. Mist ready. Double commit from NRG. Boys in blue trying to press, but Mist sends it back. And yet again, we go out with about a minute here in this OT. It's really been all of NRG on the possession game, just one at a time for FaZe like we've seen. They haven't been able to find the shot till now, and Garrett denies.
Got another one. And now it's back to that ground game. That's really where I think FaZe has got the most value out of their approaches on offense. If they've got that physicality in front and sticking a dribble towards them and seeing what NRG can do with it. Nice save from Squishy. Justin missing the lead touch forward, unfortunately. Will stall out a bit of the possession with the demo on Garrett G, meaning nobody ready to go on offense for NRG, and it's damage control right now at the midfield line.
Yeah, looking at one long swing laterally. They're trying to spread the field for FaZe, but Garrett's going to take it right up the gut, just try to punch it through before Typical gets the call, and he'll run point. Misses the touch. Squishy gets it back. As anyone around for FaZe, Mist has to fly out from his own spot, leaving it on an island, and yet again we'll try to find the angle as Typical looks to keep it alive, but FaZe are struggling. They just haven't been able to find that sustained drive downfield. NRG are more than happy to play boom ball here with about 2 minutes. Burn. Oh, low drop. Wow. Are you kidding? 2 minutes burn, and that's how FaZe find it.
Man, first killer goes for a big challenge on the sidewall. Says, hang on, we're not done yet. Throw it to me up here. Talk about chopping one straight down. Surprise, look out below. Here comes Mist barreling in to finish the job. Doesn't matter how good NRG's defense was looking that game. You weren't stopping that one. Great pass and shoot.
Well, he gets Typical bumping his own teammate Leaf, and then and on the other side of the field, first goes, would you like some help? And just drops it straight down. I appreciate that. It's a nice duality from FaZe.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of okay with the back and forth here, because I guarantee you if NRG would have gone to match point, they would have then lost the series. Like, for sure.
Rocket League
Bold claim,
action.
man. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that just it wouldn't have happened any other way. Across the board, we do have some matches done. The other 6-0 team coming into round 3 just got swept by Complexity Space Station, losing their final round here. G2 sweeping version 1. Knights sweeping Ghost Gaming. And then we do have our other matches on. Gen G is currently trying to sweep Dignitas, but they are in an overtime. Actually, Jack just scored. They just swept Dignitas.
All I'm learning is that if Leaf starts talking about a team, they're going to score.
NRG. I'm talking about NRG.
You're really going for it. You know you picked FaZe, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did this for you, chat. You think we wanted to pick FaZe? We did this for you. We care about your mental health, okay? Well, if you are FaZe, you're probably feeling good about, obviously, that Game 2 victory took a little bit longer than maybe you would have liked, but it seemed that Typical did come alive a little bit more.
Oh, he couldn't get it.
Obviously, somewhere in there is English. Missed finds the goal.
This was a great job. I mean, they actually just waste all the boost off of NRG. Looking back at it now, I'm not surprised Justin couldn't get it. He had 0 boost in the tank. The only reason he didn't get it is because he had to hit the brakes to go up and get that one. So that backwards momentum carried him a little bit deeper into the goal. Couldn't quite poke it with the nose before it crossed the line. And NRG down early. First killer rallying after the bump to make the save.
Well, the series has essentially shown you both looks from FaZe and NRG, from defensive prowess to offensive struggles for both sides. They've made some adjustments, but across the board, really has been an even matchup. Something I don't think a lot of us expected. If you're an NRG fan, you were hoping this is the result you get so far. If you're a FaZe fan, it has not gone your way most of the time, but they've been able to clutch up 1 for 1 so far when it comes to at least a minute or more in OT. We play boom ball yet again, trading possessions. One demo on the opposite side, off screen. The 3v2 here for NRG. The general will try to press, but instead, we go back to midfield. No extension, first killer. Does find a demo, there's a chance. Oh, almost a dunk. And no one from FaZe could follow up.
Wow, a great stop from Squishy first and foremost. I mean, having to contend with the smoke screen right there and potentially wondering where the shot was going to come from, and then it would prevent getting dunked on. Garrett G one-on-one will carve that one around the defense. It's going to find the equalizer. I was just thinking, NRG, the big difference was they were missing that physicality. They don't need it here.
Yeah.
Just dish one off the ceiling, and Garrett G, clean catch and quick shot.
And that's where we've seen FaZe start to call those audibles and force a lot of those challenges physically against the likes of Squishy, against the likes of Justin on the side wall to keep NRG from getting those looks downfield. But so far, General have handled the pressure in here in game number 3. You win this, you're up 2-1. Go to Coliseum guaranteed, no question. We'd love to see game 5 between these two teams, but who knows if we'll get to that point. Side swipe, get it through. Good clear from Garrett.
Some more tough defense required. Again, probably a low boost scenario, and Justin with just enough. Actually, unless he picked 100 up in the corner, I don't think he did. I don't know why that looked so scary.
I think FaZe might have just stole it again, but whether that's Garrett who just found the boost and skated through, it might have been. Picks up a demo to boot. And on these one-on-one challenges, I mean, this has essentially come down to just whoever escapes upfield unscathed. If you find a teammate, you're probably going to find the goal. It has not been the cleanest Rocket League from both teams, but it has certainly worked so far in this series. First killer gets it over everybody and stalls it back down to the ground. We come back down to earth for the moment. NRG with a pinch and a clear. They can breathe, but not for long before Squishy tries to equalize or at least send this one through.
Real tight positioning from FaZe as well, generally playing quite close to each other, seeing if they can get out in front of some of these follow-up challenges from NRG that have really been breaking up a lot of those FaZe transitions.
I don't know if it's just me. It probably is, as most things tend to be from this perspective, but it almost feels like it's like we're playing 8s right now. We're playing scrims. Just how these possessions have gone offensively. It's not a lot of cohesion from both teams. We're seeing a lot of stalls out on the sidewall at midfield, burning a lot of boosts to really advance nowhere. The marches downfield have come in pairs at times, but that's about it. The offenses from both teams have struggled in this series.
Yeah, it is pretty poke and prod, and just see if anyone makes a mistake or misses a touch, something like that. That's really just because there's not too much to really work with one way or the other. They're so focused on controlling the ball whenever they have it rather than just dumping it down the field and chasing it. Like even this one, yeah, Squishy hit it pretty hard, but the intention is always to be the next one to the ball. And the defense behind it has just been generally for both teams solid enough that there's just not a lot of openings to work with.
And I think that's definitely a positive for NRG. The defense has withheld a variety of different looks from FaZe, but for FaZe, certainly playing maybe below their caliber given how the recent performances have looked, and of course what we expect from this squad, this group of three, with how they need to break some of their curses. Typical. Instead, we'll try to leave it. And I want to say it was a kind of a tactical flip back to maybe try to bait a shot directly in front of the net. You had two defenders collapsing in, but instead it's a low swing out for FaZe. Justin can't play it low. Instead, we'll look for the center, finds Garrett. And the take back, I would like to think, from FaZe, but they get a nowhere before Typical finally does clear.
Like that patience from Typical on the goal line. It's not easy to let Justin just catch the ball and maybe just throw that one mid because you're going to get beat, but that's just being aware of the situation across the board on FaZe. Another overtime potentially here. The clock ticks down in the FaZe corner.
Good catch by Justin. Kept it up. Never mind. Here we go. 3 in a row. Well, somebody's, listen, we're currently 1-1. Both teams have found an OT. Mathematically, somebody else, we pull this one out and we will have an advantage in the series. But for FaZe, I mean, this is a huge OT.
I could not guess which one it's going to be, though. It really
This has been the most dead game between this series so far. Just, you gotta be joking. You gotta be kidding. There's no way that falls.
And that's why everyone says FaZe picking up Mist was the best thing. All they needed was a little bit of defensive wizardry.
As we were saying, NRG looking to take this one and go up 2-1 in the series. This demo at midfield, make it 2. Missed. You got to be kidding.
The demos?
Is that free? I guess it is.
Bye-bye, NRG. Squishy, that's not a bad job challenging the ball. The problem is Mist says, I just beat 2 of your teammates and turned them into dust in the backfield. So it doesn't matter if your challenge was good, bad, ugly, amazing, perfect. You're losing the game.
Leaf, we can have conversations all day, every day about, oh, well, they should do this, they should do that, they being proverbial in this stance. But when Mist decides to demo everybody and the net's free, FaZe is probably going to win that game.
Well, I mean, if you don't have players on the field, what are you going to do? You can't have invisible hitboxes. They haven't put that in as a feature yet.
It's elite analysis.
I'm waiting for the rumble, the rumble modifier.
Invisibility. That's huge. That's huge. I want that.
Anyway, RIP NRG. It was overall a pretty good game. I mean, like Spaceman and I were saying, neither offense really able to find any type of gap or anything. So they said, you know what? Let's just go make one.
Yeah. And then also another game that was, where was it that was actually looking fun was the M80 Shopify matchup. I can't tell if they had a problem because I didn't get a result yet, but it looked like M80 was on the backup, but they did get a win back. And it looks like they brought it. Yeah, it's the game 5 now. That's what it is. So, M80 was on against match point. Shopify could have finished that off, and they fought back. So, you like to see it. That's a cool start for that.
Good
team.
for M80.
Yeah,
for a team that's always caused a headache for basically all of North America. Good for them.
They're not done yet. NRG losing that game 3 is definitely makes this a much more precarious spot.
That's really more than implications really for NRG in this series. Granted, losing today to start off was not ideal. And now for them, they're going to have to make some magic happen as Garrett does just that, avoids a bump, floats it right back out in front, and Squishy will close the deal.
Well done, NRG. Garrett just doing a little bit, not too much, just enough to beat the last man once again. And that hard, aggressive follow from Squishy, he's been going for that all game, or all series, I should say, and capitalizes one more time.
Just make it look nice. That's all we want. So far, we get that. NRG finding the opening goal. Last time it was FaZe. NRG were able to respond. So far in Coliseum, it's been all of the boys in blue. The general handling a lot of different looks that FaZe have thrown in this series. Like we said time and time again, FaZe have not yet hit maybe their next level that we're used to. But how do they try to solve this riddle here? They've started off with a couple of demos. Missed, make that 3 so far in about a minute span and make it another first killer.
Nice pressure here from FaZe across the board. Typical doing a great job. Little Chip not going to allow Squishy to come up and challenge him if he starts to dribble, so he forces all of NRG to go back. And he's got that quick follow-up from First Killer like we talked about in last game. FaZe trying to tighten up, play a little bit closer to get a little bit faster follow-up, try and beat NRG to some of those plays. Find a nice equalizer.
Typical looking much more comfortable so far in this game than maybe the entirety of game 1 and 2. It looks like he's finding his rhythm. He's able to pull 2 defenders on the commit, and that set up everything else for FaZe. Tie game, plenty of time here. Very little boost for Garrett. Squishy has to come in, and Justin will try to cut through the lane, intercepting it nicely. It's a bit of an open net, but Garrett's back. Can't get it around Typical, but does enough to at least peel it off the play. Justin will escape. Now one-on-one with First Killer. Got missed closing into the net. Make it all 3 here for FaZe. But eventually, the FaZe defense will hold strong and at least keep NRG out for now.
That's what NRG has really got in the offensive playbook. And how about Squishy again? Just trying to keep things in the mix. Demo will help as well. Oh, but a little miscommunication. They both hit the ball, but he bumps Garrett into the perfect spot on defense. I don't know if that was a bad or a good play to hit your own teammate, but NRG's happy it stays out of the net one way or the other.
Trust the process. We're going to have to deal with missing on the backboard. Typical still escapes as well. Gets possession right back and bumps Garrett 7 times. First Killer through the corner. We'll grab boost. Resources here for FaZe. Garrett plays it low. Now trying to fly in and chase this one down. It's missed. Around 1. Potentially 2. Puts him on skates. Anybody else around? And that's a bit of a free look for FaZe that they don't jump on.
Yeah, very awkward there from Squishy.
And we might have a pause.
Yeah, okay. That explains why he just randomly stopped there in the goal line, trying to figure out why he just stopped and potentially allowed FaZe to swarm through. But either way, they make the stops. They float that one across the board. Everyone else calls for a pause, trying to figure out what's happening. But that is okay. We'll get it sorted out.
Everyone's playing with Squishy. It's just unfair.
So also with this, we have that M80 game going to game 5, and M80 is now currently with a minute left 3-0 up against Shopify. So that's looking like a reverse sweep for them if they can hold on to this. But going to game 5 in that group has guaranteed NRG into the playoffs anyways. NRG obviously still playing for a better seed, but yeah, they are at least guaranteed into the playoffs. So NRG fans can at least breathe a little bit, regardless of this, how that outcome goes. And also Furia taking down a crew in their group does solidify our top 16 teams now. It was Axel, M80, Koi, and Ghost all qualifying with that loss, eliminating a crew from the top 16. So we have our teams for the next regional, but obviously there's still lots to play for points and money into this weekend here. But again, M80, while also a great reverse sweep, if they can get it, at least can breathe easy, and NRG fans can breathe easy going forward, Itches.
You at least make the playoffs. That's all you can ask for. Beyond that, who knows? You got out of groups. Good enough. That's what they always say.
You would like to cause a headache for FaZe if you're NRG here. You would love that.
Yes. You would like that, but no guarantees as we do prepare to get back into the game. We will restart with a kickoff at 2:27 on the clock. And beyond that...
Oh, M80 did just complete the reverse sweep, clinching FaZe as the #1 seed for this group.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So now FaZe is like, whatever, beat us. I don't care.
I mean, with the way this has been going, I would hope FaZe just turn it around and are like, look, we can play better than this, but also it's nice to know kind of how the stakes do lie for both NRG and FaZe. So if you're a fan of both these teams, you can breathe. You're okay. But there is a bit of a statement to be made here for NRG's mental sake and also for FaZe's just consistency's sake, as that would have been the nuttiest way to bring this back.
What a great idea. You always love to see those takeaway touches, and you're just hoping that the second player coming through for the rotation can execute. There's the bump. Justin is just a little too far behind it, though. Missed again. The last man to come through and deny what should be an NRG attempt on net.
I don't know if something changed, but all of a sudden the pace has kicked up quite a bit between both these teams off the reset. So maybe we'll thank our lucky stars as all of a sudden you got Justin just fighting over everybody, and Typical has to stretch out as far as he can to just save it off the top bar. Going up to the shelf to meet it. Typical, the pass to miss, the clear.
Oh, no.
Justin got there in time, barely before First Killer finds it.
punished him. Justin got caught a step too far forward. He can see that ball get cleared straight down, and his initial instinct is push forward and challenge. Then he sees the FaZe position and realizes this one's going to get ripped back up the pitch. To be honest, I'm surprised he even got there. I didn't think he could even get a touch on that ball, but first killer, obvious, perfect recognition, and understood there was only one place Justin was going to be able to put that ball, came through and delivered the tap off the backboard, and now NRG. Again, it's not like it's the end of the world here, win or lose, but like you said, Spaceman, you'd like to cause a headache for FaZe, and going down with a minute left is not the way you want to go about it.
Yeah, look, when the math has to math, you don't want to be the one doing the numbers. You just want to know that you have your series locked up and you can move on. But you also want to have to deal with Garrett. After a couple of demos that led way to a FaZe possession, NRG put the pressure on and Garrett came right back upfield.
And it's not the best shot from Justin, but at the same time, it does kind of handcuffed miss. It goes right at him and sort of inside that front nose, so it's not like he can power it into the corner. Kind of has to hit the brakes, so even if the shot isn't the best, it does mean that the clear is a little bit weaker, and Garrett G is able to adjust and still get the job done. So way to make something out of nothing, NRG.
First killer was able to at least get Justin to fight on the jump. Still fighting, challenging, one at a time, winning these 50s. Typical demo off the back wall. Garrett has to wait. First killer misses the read. Typical will play it low. NRG are more than happy to play it to the corner. Again, they have the boost here to work with. They can manage this if they need to. But FaZe looking to get the go-ahead with under 30 to play here in Coliseum. Again, granted, they're up 2-1 in the series. They win this game. They win the whole thing. Garrett, that's gross. Here comes Squishy. You can do it too. FaZe trying their best. And they win another 50 yet again. Jason coming up big at midfield.
NRG's missing a lot of boosts. I think they do just find themselves quite fortunate to be in possession here. First killer, that's a nice laydown for Sipical, and talk about jamming one through. Huge couple of challenges from Sipical. Maybe looking to close it out. Dish to first killer. Hello, Justin. Garrett G wants to extend the play. They will not go for the demos, but Justin cannot find the redirect. Would you look at that, Spaceman? It's overtime again.
Get immediate flashbacks too. I think it was Worlds when we almost had a long field goal like that. Just rippled through the memories real quick. A little bit scared, but here we go. First killer off the backboard. Squishy had to meet it immediately and did so. Typical's been a nuisance upfield. No way. It's a floater from Miss. The dunk, but Squishy on the save. First killer now takes it off the ceiling. He'll get the reset back down, and NRG starting to press. They have to worry about this pressure.
They get caught.
The redirect, and he finds it. I'll chow that all day, every day, baby.
What a shot here from FaZe. Great pressure. Garrett G, that's not a bad challenge. It's just the third man, they get caught thinking that, okay, we've finally broken out. We're going to have a clear. Garrett's going to touch this ball. It's going to go up the pitch, but unfortunately goes flat right back to FaZe. They throw it up to the backboard. Of course, someone's waiting for it. They turn it in on the open net. NRG, they play, in general, pretty solid series, but ultimately it was indeed the FaZe offense that got it all going when they needed to, more times than not.
That looked more like the FaZe offense we're used to in the end after the reset, with about 2 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock. But here's a quick look at just how the replays went for this series. Again, granted, game one was a bit of a mix-up. NRG did find their rhythm very late, but yet it seemed that this was going to be a slogfest in the trenches, in the mud for both these teams. Leaf, at the end of the day, FaZe a little bit too strong, but I think there is credit to NRG here for how they played this series, especially the counterattacks looking more and more like the NRG of old.
Well, for sure. For FaZe Clan, it's great. You get that bye into the top 8, into the quarterfinals there now with this win. NRG just happy to make it to the playoff bracket. And, you know, if this is a turnaround, if this is them starting to look good, that's a good warm-up round heading into playoffs against FaZe. You know, if they can carry that momentum, they're going to be happy that they get to play this first round now immediately without having to wait for another day. So for NRG, that might be good. But yeah, there's some fun matchups, honestly, in that first round. M80, of course, crushing through too. Furia holding themselves together. Your eliminated teams turned out to be Optic Gaming, Shopify, Ghost, and a crew. But we'll talk about that a little bit more after the break, because we do have our round one for the playoff bracket on its way to end off day one. So stick around. More Rocket League coming your way.